What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about OnyxCoin today, XCN USD. It is the 31st and final day of July, and here we are at about $0.00313 with roughly 10 hours and 15 minutes left in this day. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here, and let's get into it, okay? We're at the lowest price now. Yes, literally right now, the lowest. You can see the low, 313. Lowest price now that we've seen since January of 2025. We haven't been this low since the top, since the drop has begun. This is the lowest price we've seen. And the amount of volume that we have is also the lowest volume that we've seen on any weekly basis. Now, there's still 2 days left. Maybe we see a little bit more volume than last week, but I'm pointing out the volume because, again, I don't think there's much selling pressure here. We are moving down. The liquidity is running dry, right? It doesn't take much to move the price down. We're down 12% this week. But inverse to that, it also doesn't take much to move the price up. And I am suspecting that a pump is going to come any day, any week now. The lower that we go, the more work this pump has to do to get above this high. From here, it's less likely that we get above this high than it was from here. It is. Maybe instead we get a slightly lower high. And then we can try again later, something like that. But things are definitely slowing down one way or another. We look at this here, overall, this chart, massive drop, lesser of a drop, and now it's even lesser, right? You can see that the slope is rounding off. We are rounding out this bottom still, okay? It wasn't rounded off the way that I thought it was initially, but still, it is rounding off, just in its own way, in its own process. Before we get into the TA, I just want to say, look at this chart, and we're going to do TA in the most simplistic way, just looking at this chart. Imagine we're not looking at OnyxCoin, we're looking at a stock. Imagine that we're all technical analysts. We have some kind of basic understanding of price action and the way that price dynamics, chart dynamics work. Prior resistances, supports, becoming areas of significance, stuff like that. Imagine we're looking at this chart and we're just told that it's some random stock, and our buddy, our grandma, whoever is asking us what we think of it. Okay. If I'm looking at this, and I don't know that it's OnyxCoin, I'm looking at it, I'm saying, well, you sold off a lot. That's pretty normal whenever stocks come out, whenever they IPO. You sell off a lot. Sometimes that happens. You recovered. You had a long accumulation zone. You saw some massive, massive pressure that sent you to the upside. And yes, you've been moving down for a while, but the movements down are getting more tame. The volume is getting more tame. There's less interest in selling, and it just so happens to be right around this area where, for a significant portion of your life, you found consistent resistance. Where you're now finding support, you once held significant resistance. Then we look a little bit further, a little bit more technical. From a low to a high, you're in the golden ratio zone. You're right in the heart of that zone. On a macro perspective, this is the obvious area to buy. And a lot of people, what they might do is they might take a trend line like this, and they'll go like this, and they'll just be like, hey, this is, we're going to go down to this trend line, that's where we're going to go. Maybe we get there. We don't have to. We could bounce right here. We definitely do not have to get to that trend line. Maybe we go below it. The way that I do analysis is these trend lines to me are not that useful, but they're actually useful in a couple of ways, in the sense of not that you're going to find support at the line, but probably just above it or just below it. That would be my expectation. And at this point, I'm more inclined to believe that we go just below it, but we could find support. We could find support right here. We are in this area, in this zone of support overall. And maybe we do go below the trend line, but perhaps we move up first, and then by the time we move below it, we're just barely below where we are now. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be from here that we move below it. On a macro scale, we are in an uptrend. You've got higher lows and higher highs. In this relative consolidation phase, you are in a downtrend, absolutely, but it looks like that downtrend's coming to an end. I'm saying it this way, I'm talking about it this way, because in moments like this, people get discouraged. In moments like this, sometimes you make the wrong decisions and you panic sell. Who knows? It could be the right decision. Maybe you're supposed to cut your losses. This thing's going to zero. I don't think it is, personally. I think that we've got new all-time highs in store for the next cycle. I think OnyxCoin, I don't just think, I know OnyxCoin has been building in this bear market. We've got a lot of potential here, you guys. But it's moments like this that test you. And it's moments like this where it's the most boring, where it almost seems like nobody wants to buy, that it's the best time to buy, to get in. This really is the most opportunistic moment in OnyxCoin's recent history to buy for a long haul. Might we go lower? Sure, it's possible. It could happen. From a low to a high. Golden ratio, we've broken through there. Statistically speaking, I mean, right, based off of this fib, the next area that we'd go to would be 0024 to 00207. I said, and I've said I think a couple times throughout this month period here, hold on, I'll be in there. I'll be there. Yes. Sorry. I had to text my wife. That I would start DCAing once we get below 003. I don't care if we go to 0024. I'm going to start buying some in small troughs, you know, just adding to the position. Ideally, I want to double, if not triple, if not maybe more than that, my total holdings in OnyxCoin as we kind of consolidate through this time. Whenever I say I'm going to start DCAing, I don't mean that I'm going to buy here, buy here, buy here, and then it starts moving up and I'm done buying. No, I'm going to keep buying. I'm going to keep buying. I don't care if it goes even above where I started to DCA. I'm going to keep buying. I'm probably going to do it like once a month. If not at most, maybe once a week. But I do believe that OnyxCoin is in the depths right now. I think that it looks like a sad chart if you're zoomed in. It's pretty boring and to the downside. But if you zoom out, it's actually at a very opportunistic moment in its history. And we're overdue. We're very much overdue for some type of phenomenal recovery. We could more than double in price from here, and we'd still have a lower high. So the idea of taking out this high, it's not that it's gone, it's just statistically less probable. But it could happen. What we want to see most, whether it's form this high and then later take that high out, or from here we just rip and we see a higher high here, what we want to see most is a higher high. That will be the ultimate indication, implication that the tide is shifting, that OnyxCoin is ready to move up, that it's done moving down. And what a perfect area in its price, what a perfect area in its history, from an all-time low to this high golden ratio zone, low volume to do it. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.